Okay, we are live. Hello to everybody. It's Saturday Fantasy Baseball. Yes, Fantasy Baseball's been over for a month, but we never stop talking about it here. So when you're in need of some fantasy information, some fantasy tidbits, fantasy baseball, regular baseball, you can always count on us here at LennyMelnickFantasySports.com. You know, we like to start early and make sure the sound is coming through nice and clear, loud and clear in the chat room. So we'll just go ahead and talk nonsense until then. But today's a great day for Texas Rangers fans, not so much for the Arizona Diamondback fans. And we'll talk all about it. Today we're going to do the Game 1 recap. We're going to preview Game 2. We are going to talk about the Game 1 tidbits, the nuggets. Lenny's here. Say hello, Leonard.
Good morning, everybody.
He says good morning to everybody. So we just wait a second until I see that the chat room is getting sound. Are you checking it, Leonard?
I'm checking it. Not yet.
Not yet, huh? We'll get there. No problem here. Should I do a commercial? Don't forget to check out the happy hour on Wednesday nights at 7:30. You can find a link to their Twitch channel. It's a great podcast. Two great guys, King Hap and Taco. But not just that. It's the interactive chat room that King Hap and his friends have put together with the Happy Hour Social Club. And we look forward to their show every week.
Sounds good.
Wednesday nights at 7:30. And I believe also Thursday nights as well. So we're going to go ahead and tell everybody to refresh. Sound is good. Good morning to everybody who joins me. And I'd like to give a welcome back to our friend David B. He's in Milwaukee. Boston Paul, make sure you say hello. I know Boston Paul sounds like he's from Boston, but he actually lives in Wisconsin. So the two of you are neighbors. Boston Paul likes to go to the airport in the mornings and sit in his car, watch the planes take off, and go ahead and listen to our podcast, which we love. Hello to Gallo. Hello, Debbie, Chris, also Danny and Penny. Great to see you. Lenny, good morning to guest Chet, whoever that may be. Go ahead and tell us in the chat room. And like I said before, hopefully you heard me, welcome back, David. Nice to see you joining us after a pretty long hiatus, but you know you can always count on us here at LennyMelnickFantasySports.com/live every day of the week. You get the podcast 9 a.m. Eastern time. Come and join us in the chat if you can. Eddie Heckman and Teresa, good morning to you, my friends. Laura, great to see you. Hi to Mary, and let's just go ahead and get started. Chris from Cambridge, Boston Paul, Chris Gallo, Danny Fuller, everybody's here. SM King Turd, what's up? Taking Turd Jr. tonight to Texas, Arlington, Texas. He's getting ready to go to Arlington now. I mean, there's nothing better than a family time trip to the baseball park, especially when you have a youngster, 4 years old. Made it to his first MLB game this year. Happened to be the Rangers. Now he gets to go to his second game of his life, a World Series, Game 2. We couldn't be more happy for King Turd and Little Turd Jr. I want to see lots of pictures from that game. These are memories that will never fade. I'm sure this put a nice dent in your checkbook, but I would say that you're going to have a Texas Rangers fan for life after this one. He probably doesn't even realize how great it is, but you get to. And we love nothing more here at the Lenny Melnick Fantasy Sports website than good old family time. So enjoy your time today with Little Junior. And we're hoping for another Texas win. All right, here we go. Let's talk about official Adolis Garcia Day today in chat. Yes, sir, it's finally officially Adolis Garcia Day in our chat room. Adolis Garcia's walk-off home run in the 11th inning gave the Rangers a stunning World Series win. The Diamondbacks are the only team without a postseason extra inning win in franchise history. They were 0-5 going into last night. Now, in 4 all-time World Series road games, the Diamondbacks have now allowed a game-tying homer in the 9th or later in 3 of 4. The rest of baseball throughout its history has 8 such games. I'm going to tell you that the biggest thing that the Rangers have over the Diamondbacks is simply home run power. So far this postseason, teams to score first are 28-9. Teams to out-homer opponents are 22-4. They were 22-6 last postseason. 50.2% of runs have been scored via home run. It was 41% in the 2023 regular season and 46.8% in the 22 postseason. Teams are and were 466, 8-1 all time in the World Series when leading by multiple runs in the 9th. Now, if you don't recall last night, I know some of you watched every pitch. The Diamondbacks were ahead by 2 runs in the 9th inning. I think that's true. Maybe it was the bottom of the 8th, but they were ahead. And the reason that I bring this tidbit up has to be that they were ahead because teams were 466, 8-1 all time in the World Series when leading by multiple runs in the 9th. The tie came in the 1907 World Series between the Cubbies and the Tigers. The game-tying home run in the 9th inning and walk-off home run in extra innings in World Series history. Last night, the Rangers versus Arizona. And in 2001, Game 4, Yankees versus Arizona. King Turd says yes, he's hoping that he can show up these pictures when he's older and he's long gone as a special memory. Oh, you know it. You know that these memories will never fade for you especially, but he'll have pictures and I'm just happy that you get to take him. I think it's so important, and yes, it's a big decision right now. The economy's a mess. Inflation's a mess. The grocery store, just a trip to the grocery store. I swear I could buy a freaking laptop computer every time I go to the grocery store. But it is one of those things that you splurge on, and I'm glad Mrs. Turd is good with it. And she'll be at home with Juniorette. And King Turd will take Turd Jr. to his second game, which is a World Series game. I don't know many kids that could say that's true. But, you know, it's my favorite story of the day, okay? Anyway, triple play. Good morning. Leonard Donaldson, welcome, my friend.
Johnston.
Tommy Johnson, thanks for showing up. Thanks for coming along to be part of our wonderful therapeutic session here. All right. It is official, Adolis Garcia today. I don't ever say his name right. Adolis. He's the second player all time to hit a walk-off home run in his World Series debut. The other is the Giants' Dusty Rhodes, who did it on September 29th, 1954 against the Indians. That is crazy. Just the date is crazy. The fact that this guy made his World Series debut on September 29th.
I watched it.
And Lenny was at the game.
I know, I watched it on TV.
No, he said he was watching it on TV. Now, we did get a note from one of our great chat room people. I won't tell you who it is. But the note basically said, although I'd love to come to the podcast and listen to you guys talk baseball, I'm boycotting baseball since 2 teams got at least 100 wins and one team got 99 wins, and these 2 teams combined did not come close, okay? Because he's boycotting baseball as he feels that these 2 teams don't deserve to be in the World Series. How do you guys feel about that in the chat room? Clearly, you're still here and you're still finding a way to listen and watch baseball. The Rangers walk it off in the 11th inning thanks to Garcia. He's the first player to hit a walk-off home run in Game 1 of the World Series since Kirk Gibson did it in 1988. He hit the 17th walk-off homer in World Series history, only 4 in Game 1. That was the 12th walk-off homer ever in Game 1 of the postseason series. The team that hit the walk-off went on to win 9 of the first 11 series. Garcia continues his historic postseason run. His first inning RBI single marked his 21st RBI this postseason, which ties him with David Freese in 2011 for the most RBI in a single postseason all time. Yes, he does sound like a wrestler, right, Chris from Cambridge? That's pretty fun. Danny Fuller says, I think last night was top 10 game, especially a Game 1. He loved every pitch. I guess, according to Chris from Cambridge, that show went on for almost 5 hours. And to say it was a great game, that's excellent. All right, Adolis Garcia has homered in 5 straight games. That's why today is official Garcia Day. He's only behind 2015 Daniel Murphy, who had 6. He's tied with 2020 Giancarlo Stanton, who had 5. 2017 and 18, George Springer had 5. And Carlos Beltran in 2004 had 5. That means they've hit home runs 5 straight games. If he hits another one tonight, he's breaking all kinds of records. He'll be tied for the most in postseason history with Daniel Murphy if he hits one tonight. Garcia is the 3rd player with 2 or more RBIs in 4 consecutive postseason games, joining 2020 Giancarlo Stanton and 2005 Reggie Sanders. Baseball went 100 World Series in a row without ever playing a game in Texas. All right. Who hit a 9th inning Game 1 World Series home run that tied a game or turned a loss into a win? That would be Kirk Gibson off of Eck in 1988, Alex Corden off of Yuri's Familia in 2015, Corey Seager off of Paul Sewald just now, and there's a list right there. The odds of Arizona Diamondbacks Texas Rangers World Series before the start of the season was 1,750 to 1. Ketel Marte now has 20 hits this postseason, the most by any player in Diamondbacks history. Ketel Marte extended his postseason hit streak to 17 straight games, tying Manny Ramirez, Derek Jeter, and Hank Bauer for the longest hit streak in MLB postseason history. Where's Ketel Marte's power, though? What the hell? They need him to hit some homers. Now, Eovaldi didn't have a great game yesterday, but he didn't have a horrible game. And the Rangers, their hitting was able to make up for it. He was bidding to become the first pitcher to win 5 games in a single postseason. He didn't quite make it yet, is the key word. Bruce Bochy says Jordan Montgomery will be the Rangers' Game 2 starter. MLB owners are expected to officially vote on the A's move from Oakland to Las Vegas at their owners' meetings November 14th to 16th. Rob Manfred declined to say where the A's would play for several years until their new ballpark is ready in Las Vegas. Why would he decline to say that? Clearly they're going to stay at the park they have. I mean, it doesn't make sense anything else. Garcia or Seager game MVP. It's got to be, Seager won't win the AL MVP, but we all know. We do know. I still think it was Garcia, the game MVP. Danny says it was Corey Seager, the game MVP. Boston Paul says Corey Seager. How can you not say Garcia when he's the guy that hit the home run in the bottom of the 11th to win the freaking game. How is he not the MVP? Give me a good reason why Seager is the MVP and what he did that won the game for him yesterday. It's all good. Teams to steal 4 more bases, 3 postseason games in a row. That's it. One team, the 2023 Diamondbacks. They are stealing bases. They stole at least 4 bases, 3 straight postseason games, and now they own the record. Without Seager, Garcia would never have gotten the opportunity to hit the home run in the 11th. Now that's a good response, Danny. I'll give you lots of credit for that. Evan Longoria now is the 4th player with a World Series hit at both 23 or younger and age 38 plus, joining Eddie Murray, Pee Wee Reese, and Willie Mays. Evan Longoria has his first World Series hit in 5,478 days since he came up in October of 2008. And that's the longest span of days between World Series hits in MLB history, surpassing the previous record of 5,117 by Tony Gwynn, who did it in 1984 and 1998. That was Evan Longoria's first World Series hit since 2008. That was World Series Game 5, and it was an RBI single off of Cole Hamels about an inning before the apocalyptic rain started falling. Apocalyptic? Okay. Evan Longoria is the 4th player with the World Series hit at both 23 or younger and 38 or more. Who drove in the first run of a World Series at age 21 or younger? Andrew Jones in 1996, he was 19. Ty Cobb in 1908, he was 21 years and 297 days. Jimmy Fox in 1929, he was 21 years and 351 days. Evan Carter last night, 21 years old, 59 days. The Diamondbacks have played in 4 World Series games. The Diamondbacks have played in 4 World Series road games in franchise history. They've allowed a game-tying 2-run home run in the bottom of the 9th 3 times. The last team to win a World Series game when trailing by multiple runs in the 9th inning or later was the 2015 Kansas City Royals, Game 5. Your boy Corey Seager now has 10 postseason home runs at Globe Life Field in 21 games, tied for the 5th most by a player in the playoffs at a single venue. Most home runs as shortstop in postseason history, Derek Jeter 20, Carlos Correa 18, Corey Seager 17, and we're only in Game 1, my friends. The Diamondbacks now have 4 games with 4 or more stolen bases, the most by a team in a single postseason. And I already told you they're the first team with 3 consecutive such games. Evan Carter, 21 years and 59 days old, the 2nd youngest player to start batting 3rd in World Series Game 1, older than only one player, the famous Mickey Mantle, who did it in 1952 at 20 years old and 347 days. At 21 years old and 59 days, Evan Carter is the 3rd youngest player with multiple extra base hits in a World Series game. He's older than only 1996 Andrew Jones and 2019 Juan Soto. Evan Carter's 9 extra base hits this postseason are the most all-time by a player at age 21 or younger in the playoffs. At 21 years and 59 days, Evan Carter is the 5th youngest player with an RBI in Game 1 of the World Series. Sarah Langs on Sports. Corbin Carroll had 2 stolen bases in the National League Championship Series Game 7. There are just 9 instances of a player having multiple stolen bases in consecutive games in a single postseason. The most recent, Ricky Henderson in 1999. Now listen to Corey Seager, how much he's improved in the postseason. Before 2020, in 31 games, Corey Seager hit .203 with 3 home runs, 10 RBIs, and a .605 OPS. Corey Seager in the postseason since 2020, 43 games, a .288 batting average, 14 homers, 35 RBI, 1.004 OPS. Wow. Mickey Mantle was fantastic, according to Eddie Heckman. It's been 12 years since the Rangers last played in the World Series and 7 years since they had so much as a winning record. The Rangers with the 11th win in World Series history when trailing by multiple runs in the 9th or later, the first since Kansas City 2015. Diamondbacks entered the game yesterday with 3 multi-run comeback wins this postseason. All other teams have combined for 3 such wins. Adolis Garcia, an RBI in 7 straight games, tied for the second longest streak in a single postseason behind only one. You guys guessed this one. This is the genius of the day. Adolis Garcia has an RBI in 7 straight games, tied for the second longest streak in a single postseason. He's behind only one player, 2009, and I will not give you the answer till you guess. Who was the player in the 2009 postseason to have an RBI in 8 straight games? No batter in MLB history has driven in more runs in one postseason than Adolis Garcia has this year. 22 runs batted in, and he still has plenty of games left. Boston Paul says Jeter. That's a good guess. He was a Phillies player. Utley, good guess. It's not Utley, but it is a Philly. Nelson Cruz by SM King Turd, also a good guess. Not the right answer. Keep on guessing, my friends. Let's talk about last night's game. Let's go ahead and do some box scores. Eovaldi, a little disappointing yesterday, but still managed to get it done. Struck out 8, which is great, but he walked 1 and he allowed 6 hits in 4 2/3 innings. Then the Texas Rangers used 5 more pitchers to get it all done. John Gray came in and pitched 4 strikeouts, 1 2/3 innings. That's pretty darn good. 19 of 26 pitches were strikes. Ryan Howard is the answer. Ryan Howard, you got it, Eddie Heckman. Good job, dude. Evan Carter, 2 doubles yesterday, both off of Zach Gallen. Corey Seager, homer. Adolis Garcia, homer. RBIs, Carter, Garcia, Mitch Garver, Corey Seager, 2 RBIs. And get this, Adolis Garcia stole a freaking base yesterday. Nobody talks about it, but that's the second one this postseason. Now, Gallen, 5 innings, 5 Ks. He walked 4. That's horrible. He is Kershaw in the playoffs, okay? 6 other pitchers came in to get it done for Arizona. Ginkel being one of them again. 1 inning, 1 strikeout. But Paul Sewald blew a save. 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, 2 earned runs. Not a great time for Sewald. And batting, you had Ketel Marte, a double. Corbin Carroll hit a triple. Tommy Pham, home run. Stolen bases, Ketel Marte. Perdomo stole a base. Christian Walker stole a base. Alec Thomas stole a base. 4 stolen bases by the lovely and talented Arizona Diamondbacks. It's not good enough to compete with the powerful Texas Rangers. Game 1 of the World Series ended up with the Rangers beating the Diamondbacks by the final score of 6-5 in 11 innings. The game was 5-3 with Diamondbacks leading heading into the 9th inning. The Rangers shortstop Corey Seager came up with the runner on first and promptly tied the game. And then in the 11th, Adolis Garcia just parked one in right field seats and sent everyone home in a frenzy. He became the first player since Kirk Gibson in 1988 to hit a walk-off homer in Game 1 of the World Series, and we all remember that one. Garcia's solo home run was his second RBI of the game, and he set the record for the most RBI in a single postseason with 22. This was the Rangers' 13th game this postseason. Garcia has now homered in 5 straight games, putting him one behind 2015 Daniel Murphy for the all-time record. Keep in mind that Garcia hit what looked to be a series-altering homer in Game 5 of the ALCS and was later hit by a pitch before the Rangers blew that game. Then Garcia was booed all game in Game 6 by the Houston crowd and struck out his first 4 times up to bat. He then hit a grand slam to put the game away. He also homered in Game 7 and won the American League Championship Series MVP. Now he's the hero of Game 1. The broad view here, though, is that the Rangers have so much more power as a group than the Diamondbacks, and that was on display once again. The Diamondbacks were small ball kings in this one. They stole 4 bases. They laid down a sacrifice bunt. Tommy Pham hit their lone home run, and he even said in a dugout interview afterward that they are a small ball team. They are. They laid down 36 sacrifice bunts in the regular season, and that led the majors. They stole 166 bases, which ranked second. Their 166 home runs ranked 22nd of 30 teams. The Rangers are the complete inverse of that. They ranked 22nd in something, but it wasn't homers. They were 22nd in sacrifice bunts with just 10 all year. They were 27th in the majors in stolen bases. They were also 4th in home runs with 233. The Rangers were not a top-heavy home run team. Nobody hit 40 homers, but 10 different players hit at least 10. They actually had 7 players with at least 17 homers and 2 topped 30. Guess who they were? Of course, Garcia led the team with 39 homers, and Seager had 33 in just 119 games. The Diamondbacks had the lead thanks in part to their small ball. After 2 singles in the third, a sacrifice bunt moved the runners to second and third before Corbin Carroll drove both runners home. It was a triple, of course, so they would have scored without the sacrifice bunt in theory. We can't be sure if Carroll would have pitched differently if the runners hadn't been moved up, and whatever it is, it worked. The stolen bases put a bunch of pressure on the Rangers' defense, and it's possible that something that looms large this series with Arizona is on offense. I would say that they're in trouble if they're just relying on their run game, because you got Jonah Heim behind the plate, and he doesn't mess around when it comes to throwing batters out, okay? The Diamondbacks did do their thing. They scored 5 runs in a game started by Nathan Eovaldi, and that is a pretty good success overall. They handed the ball to their late-inning relievers with a lead, and they hadn't yet lost a game where that happened in the playoffs. Kevin Ginkel and Paul Sewald hadn't given up a single run between them yet. The Rangers' power, though, was the difference in the end. Power can lie dormant for innings upon innings, but when it strikes, it completely changes the complexion of the game, and it will be what shifts this World Series. The Diamondbacks are a small ball team, and the Rangers are a power team. Power took Game 1. Now, let's talk about Game 2. I just love it. King Turd taking Little Turd to the game today. Make sure you share lots of pictures. I can't wait to see them. Arizona Diamondbacks right-hander Merrill Kelly has the tall task on tap in Game 2 tonight against the Rangers in Arlington. Merrill Kelly 2-1 with the 2.65 ERA in the postseason will have to subdue Corey Seager and Garcia in order to help the Diamondbacks gain a split of the first 2 road contests of the best-of-7 series. Kelly's 35 years old. He scattered 3 hits over 6 1/3 scoreless innings in an 11-2 win over the Dodgers in Game 1 of the National League Division Series on October 7th before allowing 4 runs, including 3 homers, in a 10-0 setback to the Phillies in Game 2 of the National League Championship Series on October 17th. Kelly rebounded 6 days later to permit just 1 run on 3 hits in 5 innings of a 5-1 victory over the Phillies in Game 6 of the National League Championship Series. Kelly fared well in his lone career start against Texas, 1 run on 3 hits in 7 2/3 innings in a 4-1 win on July 28, 2020 in Arlington. There was a lot going on that year, in case you forgot about the COVID shortened season. They had all of the playoff games and postseason games in Arlington, which was cool because it was a brand new ballpark and it gave us all an opportunity to see how well that ballpark fared for pitchers and hitters. Eddie Heckman says he should be taking Samantha to a World Series game at Oriole Park today. That's true, Eddie. That is so true. But guess what? You got next year. Samantha, tell her hello for us. And Natalie. And everybody. Okay. Now, so Kelly did do good in Arlington when he faced the Texas Rangers in his 1 career start against them. I told you, 1 run, 3 hits, 7 2/3 innings back in 2020. Now, the Rangers are throwing out lefty Jordan Montgomery, who's 3-0 with the 2.16 ERA in the postseason. All right, this is after just 5 days of rest. He picked up the win in relief, okay? When poor Max Scherzer losing his stuff again, Montgomery had to come in and save his ass. All right, so it's only been 5 days, but Montgomery did get a win in relief against the Astros in Game 7. He's 30 years old. He tossed 2 1/3 scoreless innings in Texas 11-4 win at Houston on Monday. Montgomery has faced Arizona just twice in his career, and both starts came this season with wildly different results. He surrendered 7 runs on 10 hits in 4 innings of an 8-7 setback on April 18th while pitching for the Cardinals. He then scattered 4 hits over 8 scoreless innings in a no decision on August 21st when he was pitching for Texas. So Montgomery would be wise to pitch carefully to Ketel Marte, who ripped an RBI double in the 5th inning on Friday to extend his career postseason hitting streak to 17 games. We told you that 17-game hit streak to start his postseason career is tied for all time, matching Hank Bauer, Derek Jeter, and Manny Ramirez. If Ketel Marte gets a hit today, he will have the record all time, beating out guys like Jeter, Ramirez, and Hank Bauer. Everybody, I know this podcast is short today, but I want to give King Turd a head start. Get in his car. I don't know how far it is from where you live to the Rangers Arlington Park, but it sounds like King Turd has a mini road trip ahead of him. I hope you stop at the Big Texan. That's me and Lenny's favorite restaurant.
Amarillo.
He knows where it is. What else is going on in the chat room here? Let's see what we got. It's only 2.5 hour drive. Well, you made my day, King Turd, taking Little Turd to the game today. I'm excited for you. The Big Texan is in the wrong direction from where they're trying to go. But lots of pictures. Next year it'll be you, Eddie. And thanks to all of you for joining me today on this wonderful, beautiful Saturday morning. It's going to be 75 degrees here on Long Island today, so Lenny will be napping outside. If you want to call in, give him a call. He loves to talk on the phone. I'll give you the phone number here. And everybody, have a great day.